Morning, everyone. As I shared last couple of days, I wanted to take the time to sort of record the presentation that we gave at this mastermind group that we were invited to. But before I do that, I want to sort of set up the meeting for you, so you can sort of get, um, sort of why we shared what we shared, what the takeaways were, and just trying to give you the color of the tremendous group we were invited to. So, standing up in front of a room, we went day two in the afternoon, which meant there was probably 15 or so presentations before us. They were all very successful individuals. There were wholesalers, there were franchise owners, there were contractors, there were some buy and hold folks, wholesalers. There were really all kinds. There were folks that were buying in small towns. There were folks that focused on mobile homes on land. There was just such a wide, diverse range of experts, and frankly, very successful individuals. And here we are getting ready to speak with them, and I sort of come out of the gate with the following mindset, right? We were 16th or so presenting, and the first 15, they were all businesses, right? These were all owners of various size but very successful organizations, and here I am getting up in front of them going, sorry guys, this presentation is going to be a little bit different than all the rest, right? Olivia and I, we don't have a business, right? We're not a company. We don't own franchises. We're full-time employees who sacrificed and did the things that we did for 15 years, and we were buy and hold individuals. And I came out with the sort of notion that we're not entrepreneurs, we're just employees, right? We have an employee mindset. Maybe we do a little bit more than others as far as sacrifice, invest, risk assessment, things of that nature. But I didn't feel, as I opened this presentation, and we'll talk about it at the end, I didn't feel right putting myself on level with the rest of the audience. So that's sort of how I started it. Right on this slide, sort of took 2 or 3 minutes just to say, hey, this presentation's not going to be like the rest, but let's get into it. So they wanted us to go through sort of who we are again, right out of the gate. All right, we're full-time employees. This is the audience that I'm talking to. It's what, it's the audience I'm looking to help. We were buy and hold landlords. I've never been anything but until recently, right? And then again, we live in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, whatever you like to call that. We spent the time over 15 years building a portfolio of rental properties that are 2.5 hours away. That's 2.5 hours one way, so 5 hours round trip, just to go there and come back before we see anything. So quite a bit away. Again, we went from a single house on North Drive up through a decent portfolio of rental units that we own today, and made us, gave us financial freedom. We did things, as it turns out, that were very beneficial, obviously. We leveraged the market cycle. We were active all the time. That's something that was very clear from the group, is that we were active over all the 15 years. And lots of full-time employees go, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to sit tight. I'm going to wait for the crash. And, they never do anything. Not only were we active, but we took advantage of, the options that real estate investing gives you, right? We 1031 exchanged. We used hard money. We used private money. We used everything we could to continually build out this portfolio, and it was very, it was very beneficial to us. And again, we retired. Olivia actually retired about 5 years ago. I said 3 here. She corrected me in the middle of the presentation, which I thought was really funny. Got a chuckle out of the room, and then I retired in February. We have created this message, this one rental at a time message. It resonates. Hopefully, the YouTube channel, which you're watching this from, is very important to me. It's where I try to communicate with full-time employees. It's where I ask you to subscribe, comment, share, all those things. And wrote the book called One Rental at a Time. And if you'd like a copy, just send us an email that I list on all these presentations. We did start buying distressed units now that we don't have a day job. That we repair, lease, and sell as solid, pride of ownership rentals, which is something we're pretty proud of. Then, where I really went there for, and I think I sort of shared with you on Saturday, is I wasn't really sure what to do next, right? I wanted, first off, was very thankful to get invited to this mastermind, but I went there, hoping to be around, very experienced individuals and get clarity on what's out there, and thankfully we did. It just feels so much better now. Didn't know where to go. The portfolio is working. Turning slumlord properties into private ownership's working. All these things are going really well, and we were unclear what to do next, but we'll get into that in the presentation. So that's how we opened up, sort of who we are and what got us here. Then they wanted to know what's working. So again, wrote that free ebook, One Rental at a Time. It's 80 pages. Many people tell me they read it in one sitting. Others tell me it takes 3 hours start to finish. It's not that long. It does document 4 different buying phases, right? The sort of seller's market, the top, the crash, and bottom and the return. Talks about, the second section talks about 21 of my core beliefs. I do give this book away for free. None of this whole, shipping and handling or whatever. It's simply a PDF. I do ask people to email me, mzuber@onerental@a-time if you want it, right? mzuber@onerental@a-time.com, excuse me. If you want a copy, maybe someday I'll post it somewhere, but thus far I want to get your email and so I can get feedback on what you thought. Currently, something we're doing, it actually just started, we're still filling out some paperwork, is we're refining 6 of our small multifamilies that we bought during the crash. Historically speaking, they're high interest rates, right? I'm paying 9% on some of these 10, but the loan amounts are so small, it just, over the time wasn't worth the paperwork, frankly. But something we're doing now is actually we're going to go get 60% loan to value, which is going to allow us to take some cash out. But as always, instead of using that cash for, a silly toy or something, we're going to be paying off a bunch of houses, which is going to be pretty significant. And if it matters, what we have found, we're using Cash Call. A friend of ours had used them and commented how easy they were to work with, and thus far they've been tremendous. We've created this private money program where we create investment partners, the 6 and 20 program that's helped us secure commitments of over $2 million. Right now we have more of a commitment than we have deal flow, which is something we're trying to work on. But as you'll see, again, maybe that's okay, right? Maybe we don't have to worry about deal flow because we don't need to be extra busy, and that's something that I have to wrap my mind around, which is a big aha moment from the event. Again, we are buying distressed assets. I'd say about 60-40, probably 60% from wholesalers, 40% out of the MLS. We are, doing private money from investors. The repair model's working, so paying everybody back. It's and they're getting over 20% on their money. There's plenty of videos on this channel where I document the return investors are getting. Then we're looking to speak more. That's something that's a big deal and be a big deal going forward. If you have a real estate club or you have a podcast or any of these people, please tell them about our full-time employee story and how we retired financially free because of landlording. The more people that can help us get on podcasts, the better, because I think that really is where the channel grows, is when you all hear us tell our story on other channels. So please reach out to people that you listen to and suggest that they reach out to me, or at least they should interview me for their podcast. That would be great. We were asked to share a book that we've read. This is one that I thought was really good, Ray Delano, Principles. Lots of historical nuggets. I actually read the opening of his book a couple of different times because it talks about what's going on in the I think it was the 60s, where there was some presidential strife with Nixon, there were rising interest rates, there were all these other things going on that kind of feels like today. So I thought it was important to sort of, run through that and see what's going on. He talks about having audacious goals and having failure, learning principles, improving, more audacious goals. That sort of feedback loop was great to see. And then throughout his book, he gives real world examples when he's done that. It inspiring to see somebody walk the walk and talk the talk. It was really nice. This is one that I've taken away already. I think especially in real estate investing, you come in as an investor with opinions and thoughts and all of these great things. But sometimes it's beneficial to talk to others. For example, something that I've felt pretty keen on is wanting to have my real estate portfolio close by so I can go see them. But maybe that's an error. Maybe I should talk to others and go travel around the country and see what other teams are doing. So again, being at this mastermind, the owner actually asked me or offered to come out and see his operation. So that's something I think we're going to be setting up soon. And again, one thing that Ray talks a lot about is, and if you should actually go on YouTube and type his name in, because he's done some great videos on the business cycle. Very, very recommended. But he talks about everything being a machine and how you can sort of just see how a machine works and you can tweak the machine and things of that nature. So very impressive. I had never even heard of this gentleman until I found his book, which is unfortunate because I think he's been around for a long time, very, very successful, and been giving back for a while. So good for him. And then this is, I think, my closing slide. So again, we went there, sort of saying, all of you are very successful entrepreneurs. We're not, right? I called it, we're employees who simply sacrificed and executed, right? I was willing to call myself an investor, but wasn't willing to call myself an entrepreneur. And this is where the room sort of stopped me, right? I didn't even get past this bullet. They basically said, you're an entrepreneur, stop it. And there were lots of chuckles and many comments where I just had to sort of assess. I still honestly have a hard time saying I'm an entrepreneur because I don't think I was like anybody in that room. I'm very comfortable saying we're investors, right? But I'm still not comfortable saying I'm an entrepreneur. So, but the room was pretty adamant that we are. So that was very eye-opening, and I sort of felt so much better at the end of the presentation. I talked about what we've done is we spun up a bunch of busy work, not really having a business, don't really, still don't have a business. And they're like, that's okay, right? Do what you love. Yeah, if you like talking to people, doing videos, do videos, right? Just, do what you love what you do. Don't have to have a business. Buying out of the MLS and wholesalers is fine. You don't have to do the marketing thing, right? Just because other people are and they're doing, 2,500 mailers a week, and you don't need to do that if you don't, What was interesting here is we sort of keep building these, and this is how it sort of transpired in the event was, a lot of the people, when we sort of stepped back and they were offering encouragement, but they really wanted me to feel it, was all of them wanted to be free and buy and hold, and many of them were like, we're 60 hours a week in the job, and they got to keep doing it to pay the bills and all of that, and that was kind of eye-opening, right? They may be the owners, but it's still a job. So it was pretty interesting. We talked about how to double down. Lots of them offered up speaking engagements and things of that nature. I really hope that does come, because I think we need to talk to more and more people. And anytime you can use someone else's network to expand, it's greatly beneficial. One of them actually is hosting or will be hosting a radio show, I think, in January, and said that he'd reach out for us to do that, which I thought was very gracious of him. And started talking about what a company would look like and things of that nature. Didn't know where we could take this. Personal network, again, non-entrepreneurs, which again they just gave up on me. They're throwing papers at me and things like that. Olivia was joining him, by the way. She's like, stop it. And then the sort of closed out on this one is just, be happy with what you're doing. There's no reason to have a business. I guess I convinced myself that I had to, right? And that was my deal, my issue. I shouldn't have done that. That was a big takeaway for me. There's no reason to add stress, no reason to risk anything. Just do what you do, like what you do. If you don't like doing it, do something else. So it was extremely encouraging to listen to the group and get their feedback. I can't thank them enough. If any of them are watching this again, I can't thank you enough for what you did for us. I felt so much better. I'd been unknowingly stressed for probably 4 or 5 months trying to figure out where do we go, how big do we go, do I have to move to Fresno, all these things. And the answer is no, not to none of that, right? If I get the biggest kick helping people via these videos, we're going to do that. Just keep being honest and trying to produce value. and that's okay, right? You don't need to double or triple or quadruple in risk, holding a lot of inventory and things of that nature. So it was a lot of fun. So again, it was I can't thank them enough. The mastermind concept is something I fully recommend no matter where you are in the business cycle, because I think it just helps. It's something that I hadn't done ever until this, and that was short-sighted and a mistake on my part. I'm sure we would be better off if we had invested in growing our network to work with others. So in the end, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ask questions, hit that like button. It's greatly appreciated. Have a great day.